What's up, y'all? I'm still out here on the range, as you can see back behind me. Been out here doing some really interesting jelly testing today with some nice weather, so I've been trying to do everything I can to make the most of that out here. I think I've got enough time and jelly space to get one more test done, and it should be an interesting shorty barrel test. So as you can see, the jelly contraption's been hard at it out here. We got the radar, got 2 blocks of gel here. Now this far block is pretty full. I've done some tests in it. This front one, I've only done 1 test, and I kept it way back here on this side, so I got plenty of room. I had a little sneak through on some tests earlier, but that shouldn't bother a thing because I got a feeling both of these rounds are going to be contained to this first block here. Also, of course, like I always mention, I've got the heavy clothing barrier on out here with the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. So what we got here to end out the day with are a couple of offerings from Super Vel. Now, I've tested some Super Vel in the past. As a matter of fact, I have tested this Super Snub in the past. It's been quite a while before I got real fancy with all my data and stuff now, and it was not through the heavy clothing barriers before I was using that, so be interesting to see what happens here. Now, in the bare gel, this stuff was pretty impressive. Y'all know I'm not one that really likes a lot of fragmentation, and this stuff had a lot of fragmentation. I mean, it went all to pieces, but it still did carry out to a minimum of 12 inches if I remember correctly, and it's got some good speed and energy behind it. So obviously it's the 38 Special Plus P here. They're Super Snub, they call it. 90 grain JHP, supposed to be moving at 1,300 feet per second from a 1 7/8 inch Smith & Wesson J frame. So we should see that. I don't remember if we quite saw that last time. We may not, but you can see the projectile there. Again, last time this thing went all to pieces almost immediately. So anyway, I figured since I was testing these and had to order some anyway, I saw these pocket rockets were back in stock also. These are their 380 pocket rocket, 80 grain solid copper hollow point. Now they're saying 1,100 feet per second on this. Out of an 80 grain, that's kind of meh, but you know, it is what it is. We'll see how it does in the gel. I'm not real crazy about the lightweight stuff like this, but again, it may do good in the gel and surprise us. So obviously what we're running these out of are basically what they're meant to be run out of, these little shorty barrels. For the 38 Special, I've got my Taurus 856 here with the 2-inch barrel on it, and then for the 380, I've got the LCP Max here with the 2.8 inch technically barrel. Now on their site for the 380, I did see that they tested this out of a Walther PP size, so that should be about the same as this LCP Max. It may be just a hair bigger, but we should have right about the right size barrels for this stuff. But that's enough rambling on about it. Let me get us set up and let's check these things out. All right, let's see what these things are running, y'all. We'll do a 5-round average. We'll start with this 380 first. Now, if y'all aren't familiar with this lab radar, I know I say it every time, but there's new folks to the channel. You're gonna see multiple numbers here. Your big number is gonna be the muzzle velocity, and then you'll have 5 additional ones across the bottom. It's gonna be set to 3 yards, which is where the gel is, and then 10, 15, 25, and 50. So let's see what we get here. Remember, these are saying 1,100. Did I rack this thing? Yeah, I did. Forgetting what I'm doing, y'all. Let's see how close we get to that. Got 1035, 1013, 1020. That was another 1020. I saw some of the distance move, so that was valid. And then 1029, so right there close to the lad 1,100, but it didn't quite hit it. Let's see what the average is. All right, so our 5-round average there was 1,023. We had an extreme spread of 29 with a standard deviation of 8.5. So not too bad out of that little max, but I would definitely like to see more than that with an 80 grain projectile. Well, let's get this reset and check out that 38. All right, let's check out this 38 Special Plus P. Now remember, this is 10 grains heavier. This is a 90 grain, but it's supposed to be moving 1,300, and it's probably gonna be close to that. I expect right much more juice out of this here. And it's probably gonna be louder and snappier for sure. Not too bad, really. 1283. It's loud. 1303. But really not that snappy. 1269. 1207, that one dropped for some reason. and 1253. So we had one low out of that for whatever reason. Again, it could be tolerances on this, could be ammo tolerances, who knows. Let's check out what the average was. All right, so that time out of that 38 plus P, we got an average of 1263. And if you notice, most of them were around the upper 12s, lower 13, except that one low of 1207. That's what's thrown our extreme spread so high. We got an extreme spread of 97 and a standard deviation of 36.6. I would feel confident saying there's some kind of shenanigans going on there, whether it's tolerances in the cylinders or the gap on the revolver, whether it's something goofy going on out there, who knows. It could be the ammo. I'm just saying that seems a little off. But anyway, 5-round average on that was 1263, and if you remember on that 380, it was 1023. So you're talking about 240 feet per second faster out of that 38 special with roughly the same length barrel. Now, totally different cartridge, so I'm not comparing them directly, but a lot of times people do compare these two as far as pocket tools and being real finicky ammo wise. So good to see the difference anyway. I feel pretty confident that this 38 Special Plus P is going to do about what it did last time, barring the clothing messing it up. As far as the 380, I'm not real sure, but let's set this stuff up and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's short stuff jelly time. I'm gonna put one of each into the gel, starting with this Pocket Rocket 380 first. If I'm guessing on this one, my guess is you're gonna get good expansion and pitiful penetration. I think it's gonna be short on the penetration, but hopefully it proves me wrong. Let's see what we get here. All right, that should have been perfect placement. Let's go see what we got. All right, y'all, that right there went pretty much how I figured it would, and not in a good way. So let's send us one of these super snubs down range. I got a feeling this is gonna be a big difference right here. Let's see what she does. I think I came out the side of that. Let me go see what I got. Yeah, sure enough, y'all, that one came out the side. It was in a perfect place too. Hopefully I can put this one under it and keep it out the bottom without making a mess. We got to get one in there so we can get this projectile. All right, that should have been much better. Let's go see what we got. All right, let's check out what we got down here. Now, I've got y'all looking at this from above. I've flipped it over, so this was the top. Down on what's facing down on the bottom would have been what you were looking at. But I did it like this because, as you can see, those two 38s, that first one, that's the one that I went and it curved out the side. And then the second one went basically right next to it, so it was kind of blocked. So y'all get a much better picture like this from above. But long story short here, in my opinion, you've got one fail and you got one pass with an asterisk on it. So let's look at what we got here. On the top, that was the one from the 380. This is a fail if you ask me. Now, it came in, nice disruption, immediately expanded, no doubt about it. I didn't have any doubt that it would. Very, very nice expansion, but it's barely halfway through this first block. So you're talking probably 8 inches of penetration right there. And I'm just telling you right now, that's not sufficient, y'all. That I know a lot of people, they don't get the fact that this isn't a one-to-one for the situation you're gonna be in. This is clear gel, y'all. I mean, there's no kind of organs, bones, anything in this. That is not enough penetration for me anyway. Now, some people, if you're happy with that, more power to you. Far be it from me to try to convince you any other way. But for me, that is not even close to enough penetration. Now, the 38 Special Plus P, a totally different story. The first one obviously curved out the side, so we couldn't figure out what it was gonna do. The second one, as you can see, it comes in here. Very, very nice disruption, dragging a bunch of this cloth, keeps on trucking through this first block into the second one, and looks like it's about 2.5 to 3 inches into this second block. And from what I can see, it's definitely not expanded like it should. And that's my asterisk right there, because all of that looks really nice, and it had really nice velocity and energy and everything, and perfect penetration. But that expansion is not what you're supposed to get from it. Now, if it does this every time, fine. But if it doesn't do this every time, then there might be a little bit of an issue. But let's check out the penetration on them first. So on this 380, you actually got 9 1/4 inches of penetration. 9 1/4, that's a little bit more than I thought it looked like, but that's still, it's just still way, way short for me. And then on this 38 here, this is actually out to 18 3/4 inches. So that is perfect penetration in my book right there. The only problem is it looks a little bit sketchy on that expansion, but we'll pull it and take a look at it. Here's a quick close-up look on it. Again, the very top is the 380. The middle one, that's the 38 that we kept. So you can follow them through here. You ain't got to follow that 380 far. I mean, y'all see how I move, boom, it's right there. So not much in the way of penetration. Really nice expansion on it though. And then we'll go back down to the 380. You can see really, really nice disruption. Carries on through there into that second block. And then there's your projectile. But as you can see, that is definitely not expanded like it's supposed to. All right, let's check out these projectiles, y'all. Big, big difference between these in the way they look. Obviously, this one right here is that copper 380. Really, really nice looking expansion on that. Very, very symmetrical. Perfect expansion on that thing. I didn't doubt that it would. Pretty much every solid copper expanding round in 380 that I've tested has expanded, but very, very few have met even the 12-inch minimum. I know right off the top of my head that Defiant Munitions, their solid copper 380 does meet that 12-inch minimum, but I don't know if any of the rest of them has. I can't remember if Barnes did or not, but I really don't think they have. So beautiful expansion and poor penetration here, and then you got the exact opposite on this one. You got beautiful penetration but poor expansion here. Now, y'all know me, I don't even put much weight in stuff expanding nicely. The only reason that I get hung up on the expansion is if you're paying a premium for something that's supposed to expand and hit that penetration, then it should expand. Just like this. This should expand more than this. There's no doubt that was a failure of this round as far as expanding, but it had beautiful penetration. My opinion, what happened here, just from doing all these tests and seeing stuff like this, what happened with this is it filled up with cloth and then it yawed to one direction and started spitting that cloth out, and then it started to expand. So, you know, that's a question here. That's why I say this one to me is a pass with an asterisk, because if it does that every time, even if it fills up, if it dumps it out and at least gets this much and gets that penetration, then fine, I'll take that every time. But if it clogs up and say it doesn't yaw and it keeps filled up and it goes, you know, way, way further or out the end of the block for some reason, then that would not be too cool. But let's get some measurements on these things and see what we got there. I don't see anything at all in the gel, so I don't think we lost any material. This 380 started at 80 grains and it's at 79.9, so nothing lost there. The 38 Special started at 90 and it's actually at 90.1, so absolutely nothing lost from either one of those. Now, as far as your sizes on them, we'll start with this nice looking 380. You got 717, 714, and 698, so absolutely fantastic, very, very even expansion on that one. And then on the 380 here, it's going to be very, very irregular. We'll start with the shortest way here. You got about 374, and then on the largest section here, you got 576, so nice expansion going that way, but overall not very good expansion from this one at all. So there you have it, y'all, the Super Vel Pocket Rocket and Super Snub. Two very, very different performances out of these, and this was a very much different performance with this Super Snub once we added this cloth through the bear gel. On that bear gel, I'll put a link for that video if y'all hadn't seen it, but it went all to pieces. I mean, almost immediate fragmentation, and it just kept on fragmenting. Whereas this time through the heavy clothing, it held together, but that's just because I believe it got clogged and couldn't fully expand. The 380 on the other hand, again, totally different story here. Beautiful expansion, but very, very short on the penetration. All right, y'all, there's another shorty barrel test in the books, and that's gonna wrap it up for the day. Not really much left to say on this one. Again, in my opinion, the 380 was a total fail. The 38 Special is a pass with that asterisk. I may go back and do some more testing with this 38 Special, multiple rounds, just to see, you know, what kind of consistency I can get out of them, because this stuff the first time through the bear gel acted completely completely different. So that just makes me feel a little iffy about it on which way it's going to perform. Is it going to do this every time, or is it going to do something just way out of the blue? But let me know down in the comments what y'all think about the performance from both of these. Those y'all that run 380, are you okay with that short amount of penetration? I know some people probably are. That's all well and good. Everybody's got their preferences. My 38 special people, what do you think about the performance from this, especially this time versus through the bare gel? Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you got those notifications turned on so you hopefully get notified when I upload new stuff. Again, if you're doing some shopping, check out those affiliate links in the video description. I've got most of the major places down there in the campsite link or one of those links, so check those things out. Anything you buy after hitting up those links down there, I get a kickback from them towards the channel, so I really do appreciate that. Once again, a huge thanks to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel like y'all do. I've had a lot of fun out here today and got some interesting stuff done. Plenty more stuff planned, so be on the lookout. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.